Hello. Thank you for purchasing your Panasonic or your National Bread Bakery, and welcome to the new dimension of fresh, wholesome bread products that you'll be making for yourself and your family. Your new bread bakery makes it possible for you to make a complete range of white, whole wheat, and mixed breads. The Panasonic and the National Bread Bakery were developed by the Matsushita Electric Industrial Company Limited. Their complete line of home appliances are renowned for their advanced technology and superior operational features. The video you're about to see is designed to help answer any questions or solve any problems that you may be experiencing in obtaining optimum results with your bread bakery. An exciting recipe section is also included at the end of this tape. We know that you are going to enjoy the ease of operation and nutritious results that you can attain with these bakeries for years to come.
Let's begin with basic operation. It is important to read your instruction manual and follow the directions closely. The short amount of time it takes will let you avoid problems later. Now let's start with a simple loaf. First, is your bread bakery clean, located away from any hot surfaces, and of course, plugged in? Following the simple recipe in your manual, place the flour. We recommend bread flour because of its higher protein content, which imparts excellent rising characteristics to your bread. Sugar, salt, and water into the bread pan. It is very important to measure all of your ingredients with care. Here's a hint. When measuring, pour the ingredient until it makes a heaping mound in the measuring cup. Never pack the ingredient into a cup by tapping it on a surface. Then, with a knife or similar straight edge, level off the mound. Now, put the bread pan all the way into the bread bakery oven, making sure that it is aligned with the guides on the left and right of the oven area. Put the yeast into the yeast dispenser located on the top of the machine. If you haven't put the bread pan into the oven properly, when you push the start pad, you're going to hear several beeps. See the operation lamp blinking and the display indicating check pan. All you have to do is replace the pan correctly, then select the appropriate mode for the type of bread that you are making. Press the start pad once more, and the bread bakery does the rest. In as little as 3 hours, you will have a piping hot loaf of fresh bread. Notice the oven mitt. Remember, the pan is very hot. Your bread bakery is controlled by a sophisticated microprocessor with built-in protection devices. If on pressing the start pad the display beeps, blinks, and indicates temperature, the oven area is above 105 degrees. This may occur during repetitive use, and you must allow the unit to cool down before reusing. When the oven area has cooled, all the indicator lights go out. You may now press the stop reset pad and then the start pad to restart the process. If the display indicates a 000, there has been an interruption in the power supply due to a power failure, unplugging of the power cord, or a malfunctioning of your household fuse or circuit breaker. If the outage lasts longer than 10 minutes, the operation of the unit stops. You must remove the dough and start again using all new ingredients. But if the interruption in the power supply is momentary, the bakery operation will not be affected. In fact, if the power is restored within 10 minutes, the bread bakery will operate again automatically. However, the bread may not turn out well. If the unit is overloaded and an excessive force is applied to the motor, the protection device will stop the motor. Check to see if the kneading blade is restricted by hard dough. By hard dough, we mean dough that has had firm ingredients added, such as grains and fruits. The more ingredients, the harder the dough becomes. Take out the dough. Check to see that the kneading blade in the bread pan can rotate. If the blade cannot rotate, service will be required. Otherwise, after approximately 30 minutes, the motor will automatically start running again. It is recommended to restart with fresh ingredients. Here are some other hints to help you retain the best results from your bread bakery. An underbaked loaf can be the result of a power outage. The stop reset pad was pressed after starting, the top lid was opened during operation, or the mode selection was chosen incorrectly. Dough versus bake, for example. If your bread rises too much, you may have added too much flour or too much yeast. Make sure you put the yeast in the yeast dispenser, not directly into the flour. If your loaf doesn't rise, you may have left out the yeast, or the yeast could be too old. Also, try adding more sugar, water, and salt. Too dark? Decrease the sugar. Too soggy? Decrease the water. If the loaf is not baked in the center, use finer flour and decrease any dense ingredients, such as nuts and fruits. The important thing to remember is to accurately follow your bread bakery recipes. Your bread bakery will give you years of faithful service if you take care of normal, simple maintenance. Remember to clean the machine. Ingredients spilled on the heater element will burn and more than likely emit smoke from the steam vent on the back of the unit. The bread pan and kneading blade are coated with a non-stick finish. This allows the bread loaf to easily slide out, which in turn eliminates the chore of messy cleanups. If the kneading blade does not come off after baking, fill the bread pan with warm water. Set it aside for about 5 minutes and try to remove the blade again. Then simply wash the bread pan and kneading blade with a sponge. Avoid using harsh cleansers or sharp objects when cleaning. Don't leave any part immersed in water, and make sure you dry thoroughly. The measuring cup and spoon should also be rinsed and wiped dry. Never use cleansers, steel wool, or other abrasive materials to clean your bread bakery. The body and the lid should be wiped clean with a damp cloth. Use only a mild detergent. Be careful to wipe the temperature sensor gently to avoid bending. The yeast dispenser should be wiped clean with a dry cloth. If a damp cloth is used, the dispenser must be allowed to dry completely before reuse. Parts which may need replacing after about 1 year, dependent upon use, include the following: the kneading blade. In time, the fitted opening may become worn, but it is easily replaced. The mounting shaft. This is designed to protect the motor from excessive stress. If the kneading blade does not spin well, or if dough leaks through the bottom of the pan, the mounting shaft should be replaced. If the yeast is not dropping, the solenoid may need replacement. The solenoid protects the computer chip when a power surge occurs. Try a surge protector to avoid further incidents. If the motor makes a straining sound or moving parts seem frozen, the motor might need a light lubrication. Check the drive belt if necessary. These last two are service items and should be performed at your nearest service center.
Thank you for watching. A great deal of research and development by Matsushita has gone into the creation of your Panasonic and National Bread Bakeries. They are the finest units on the market and are designed to give you years of baking enjoyment. If you still require assistance, our customer service staff will be happy to help you. The number is 714-373-7757. Our hours are 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, we would like to invite you to continue watching our video as we present some specially developed bread baking recipes that are simple and delicious.
Fruited holiday bread. We're going to start with 2 1/4 cups of gold medal Better for Bread flour. We've selected this flour because of its high volume of protein, which promotes superb rising characteristics. Now, we could get real scientific here, but let's just say that it makes a great loaf of bread. Now, add 2 tablespoons of packed brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of dry milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoons of ground cardamom, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1/4 cup mashed cooked pumpkin, 1/4 cup of chopped mixed candied fruit, 1/4 cup of chopped mixed nuts, 2/3 cup of water, and 1 1/4 teaspoons of dry yeast. This bread should be baked in bake light mode. For the glaze, mix 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, a dash of nutmeg, and 1 to 2 teaspoons of milk to the desired consistency. Drizzle onto the cooled loaf. We take 2 1/4 cups of bread flour, 1 1/2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of dry milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup or 2 fluid ounces of water, 6 tablespoons of butter or margarine, 3 large eggs, 2 teaspoons of dry yeast. Select the dough mode. Place the dough in a greased bowl. Refrigerate for 10 minutes. Roll into 8 equal portions. Cover and let rest for 20 minutes. With the edge of the hand, roll into a small ball without detaching, then mold into shape. Brush lightly with water. Bake at 90 degrees until the large ball rises above the tin. Brush lightly with a beaten egg. Then bake at 350 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes. Let's start with 2 1/4 cups of our gold medal flour. Then 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 1/2 teaspoons of butter or margarine, 3/4 cup or 6 fluid ounces of water, 1 teaspoon of dry yeast. Select the dough mode. Divide into 2 equal portions. Cover and let rest for 20 minutes. Roll portions into rectangles. Roll the dough tightly and pinch it to seal. Place on a greased baking pan. Brush lightly with water. Make diagonal cuts. Bake at 375 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. Once more, we'll start with 2 1/4 cups of gold medal Better for Bread flour, which we like because of its high protein network. Then we add 1 tablespoon of packed brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1/3 cup of mashed ripe banana, 1/4 cup broken up dried banana chips, 2/3 cup of water, 3/4 teaspoon of dry yeast. The Choco Banana spread, mix 1/4 cup of mashed ripe banana and 1/4 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips melted. Serve by spreading thinly on each slice of the bread. I call it whole wheat date nut bread. I start with 2 1/4 cups of Gold Medal whole wheat flour. Then add 1 tablespoon dry milk, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 tablespoon butter, 1/3 cup chopped dates, 1/4 cup chopped pecan nuts, 15/16 cup of water. And 1 teaspoon dry yeast. Pesto tomato. Again, we're going to start with our Gold Medal Better for Bread flour. That's 2 1/4 cups. Now add 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of prepared pesto sauce, 1/4 cup of coarsely chopped, softened, sun-dried tomatoes, 3/4 cup water, and 3/4 teaspoon of dry yeast.